The tragic death of young Augustine from Greenhill Academy is now at the center of a heated debate after reports that TMR Hospital refused to release his body over an unpaid medical bill went viral. Augustine, a pupil at Greenhill Academy, died on November 12th, 3 weeks after suffering severe injuries from a fall at school. His family and sections of the public initially claimed the hospital had declined to release his body over an outstanding medical bill said to be more than 150 million shillings. However, TMR International Hospital has strongly come out to refute the allegations that it withheld the child's body. Speaking to URN, the hospital's executive director, Dr. Talemwa, said the facility never detained the body and that the child had been under intensive monitoring in the ICU until he passed on. Talemwa claims he personally took part in the child's evacuation, explaining that Augustine arrived in critical condition and required highly specialized care. He noted that ICU treatment at TMR ranges between 2 and 4 million shillings per day based on the patient's need. However, while public statements pointed to a bill of 150 million shillings, Dr. Talemwa clarified that the figure was much lower and that the hospital was already working with the family on a payment plan that extends to March 2026. He said he was actually meeting the child's father before the allegations of a detained body began circulating.
If you are writing this story, I called one of them and they said, please, you need to quote. You need to come up with facts. You're saying you called management, but no one called us. I mean, if you can show me in your record that you called TMR and I didn't respond, then we have a case to answer there. And share with me facts so that I can answer based on facts rather than just sensational statements of people. So, and then of course yesterday we are asking, so what's happening? You know, who is writing these stories? Up to now, we don't know the source of the stories, where they have come from. But I can tell you that the family is happy with the care. The hospital is happy with the family. We gave them a payment plan that stretches up to March. As you know, in anywhere in the world, when you have such an emergency, you don't have money in your pocket. That's what I'm aware. Okay. Even if the money you needed 5 million right now, even me, I may not have 5 million in case I had an emergency. Okay. And so, of course, they made a deposit of what they could afford, and we gave them a payment plan that stretches to about March next year.
Okay.
So, as I said, the average cost in ICU is about 2 to 4 million, and they were there for about 21 days. So you can do the math and you see what the bill was.
Before his transfer to TMR, Augustine had been admitted at Sea Care Clinic in Chireka, where his condition worsened due to multiple injuries to the chest, brain, and the abdomen. He spent 21 days in intensive care at TMR before he passed on.
First of all, these stories, of course, are purely allegations and false ones like that. Yes, that boy has been with us for the last 22 days since that incident at Greenhill. By default, ICU bills are not very low anywhere in the world, including Uganda. So on average, depending on the condition of a patient, on average they spend between 2 to 4 million in ICU, and that's usually the lowest that you can get. Even if you're in a government setting, still the government will pay the money. And but an average cost even in a government setting is about 6 million. So our average cost in ICU is about 2 to 4, depending on which organs are being supported. For example, people who need dialysis may end up stretching up to 4. People who need just respiratory support may go up to 3 per day. That's per day. Okay. So it's good that you called me. And you can quote me on that. I was personally involved in the rescue of this boy from a clinic when he got a call. The school drove the boy to a clinic, and of course the clinic couldn't support the boy, and they put out a call. And as our policy is, we don't request for any deposit when we get a call or at admission.
Okay.
And you can imagine it's a child who was in school and the parents were working. So by the time they brought the child to the clinic, the parents also were struggling to come to the clinic. So it was very critical that we pay a lot of attention to managing the crisis, making sure the child gets the support they need, and we put them on aside. So that's what precisely we did. When he came to the hospital, he was critically ill, very sick. I remember personally telling the relatives that, yes, we're going to try and do everything possible, but your child is very sick because of the extent of the injuries that he sustained, both in the brain, but also in the chest and abdomen. So, I see you every day, every hour, it must be treated different. You can be stable now, and the next hour you can be unstable.
Yes.
So we maintained 24/7 monitoring of this patient in ICU until the day he passed. He passed on Saturday. Those stories came on Friday morning, which is really, actually, when they came out, I was seated with the father. And we were discussing what support do you need, and things like that. One at the burial arrangement. So when I got the story, I showed the father. I said, "Is this you?" The father said, "No, absolutely not. If it was me, I wouldn't be here." And then I called the mother, and I said, "The mother is a very high respected profession." The mother said, "No, that can't be us. You guys have been very good to us. We've been very patient. We have talked. We have discussed everything. So we don't know where the stories are coming from."
Now, the Uganda Healthcare Federation Executive Director, Grace Chiwanuka, confirmed that the case was handled professionally, noting that the cost of ICU care remained high across both private and public hospitals due to specialized equipment, skilled personnel, imported medication, and round-the-clock management. Worse off, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a Ministry of Health study estimated that ICU care at National Referral Hospital was over 300 million shillings per day, even with government subsidies. Legal experts, however, have maintained that whether the bill is high or not, hospitals are not permitted to hold bodies over unpaid fees. Courts have repeatedly ruled that health facilities are not detention centers, and the correct recovery methods include written undertakings or civil proceedings through the deceased estate.
Because largely what court was saying is detention it violates human rights. Right? It's a violation of human rights, and that hospitals should find alternative ways to recover medical bills, because there are reasons for detention usually, and that you have not paid.
Yes,
so they were, of course, giving solutions like you can take them to court. You can enter agreements and sort of like pay money and stuff like that. And indeed, that client was released with a payment plan.
Okay.
So that's essentially what court was saying, that it's a violation of human rights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and even during COVID, there's a dead body, I think, that was detained at TMR Hospital.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we also intervened in that one, and the hospital came up with a payment plan with the family. So yeah, really, they do it, but it's a violation of rights.
At a vigil held on Wednesday evening, members of the Greenhill community expressed sympathy and pledged ongoing support to Augustine's family. The school's parents committee is coordinating fundraising efforts across class groups, while friends, relatives, and the wider school community are also mobilizing resources. The case of Augustine not only highlights the tragedy of a young life lost, but also raises critical questions about access to health care, the high cost of intensive care, and the legal and ethical responsibilities of hospitals. As the Greenhill community rallies to give him a proper farewell, the nation continues to debate how to balance medical costs with compassion and the law.